Welcome to another Pixel Game Maker tutorial. Today's other runtime action we're going to go over is the move towards display direction. And the display direction is the current direction that the object is facing in the scene. So what this runtime is saying is that we're going to move the object the way that it's facing. And we have a parameter for the distance that we're going to move it, and then we have a parameter that can manipulate the direction a little bit. Before we go into those, I just want to play test the scene here and show you that we'll have a non-movable object that we'll use this with and a movable player object that we'll use this with. So in the non-movable object, I'm going to click add, I'm going to click on the box, and we're just going to leave this default for now. Basically, we are not checking the specify movement distance. So if we're not specifying it, then it's going to go indefinitely. And then we're not going to click on move in reverse direction, meaning that the object is going to move in its current direction that it's facing. So we will use this button down here, this preview button, to see how this works. If we are to click on it, what it does is you saw that it threw the object in. It's not even associated with our scene normally, but it just throws the object in and it runs that runtime action so that you can see how it would react on the scene. Now, sometimes this gets a little crazy when you're doing it with a player object or something, but for most objects you can use this and you will get a good idea of what's going to happen with that runtime. I would not recommend playtesting at all in this. I would just use it purely to see how the runtime is going to affect that action. So we saw what it did. It threw it in there and it went an indefinite distance down, which is the direction that it was facing. So now let's try specifying a distance. Let's specify 0 pixels. And it throws in that object and specifies, and it's not moving because we specified that we want it to move 0 pixels. So if we did 50, we can guess what's going to happen. It's going to move 50 pixels. And then lastly, if we move in the reverse direction, we can also guess what's going to happen. It's going to move 50 pixels in the reverse direction while retaining the direction that the object is facing. That's something to note. So I'm going to click OK and throw this in there. I'm going to click off the movement though as far as reverse direction goes. I'm going to click OK. So, and then let's play test in the scene and see how it looks with the actual object we have. Okay, so it moved down 50 pixels. So I'm going to copy that, go to our player object, and I'm just going to paste this in the idle state. And I'm going to click off specify movement distance, and we're just going to see how this plays out now. So I'm going to move indefinitely, and I'm going in the direction that the object is facing. So with the player, one cool thing about it with a controllable player is now you can input which way it's going. So this might be nice for a sliding effect, or like a game that you want to make like Snake, where you got to go and keep it's always going to be moving and you got to react accordingly, kind of a thing. So that's one way that you can use it with the player controller. All right, so I'm going to take that off now and head back to our static bot here. So we have it on our other runtime action. Now let's see what happens when we click on the changeable in scene after placement icon. This is a very important icon. We're going to be testing out every runtime action with it that can use it. So when you click that on, you can now come to the scene and you can click on the object that you have it clicked on, and that runtime command becomes visible down here. You can see that it's in its idle state, and it's the one that we let be visible and changeable in the scene. And the settings is exactly how it is in the default. So now say we were to have a couple of these objects. So we have, let's copy paste, move one over here, let's say, and then copy paste and move one up here. Like that. And let's set this one's default direction to 270. So with this one, we have specify the movement 50 pixels in the direction that it's moving. So we'll just leave that one normal. Let's go to this one, and let's say that we want this one to move in reverse, but still 50 pixels. And then on this one, let's say we want to move indefinitely in the reverse position. And what you'll notice is that each object has now a different setting that the global object has. And that is because we made it changeable on the scene. So now if we were to click play, you can see our objects each did something different on the scene, but yet they are the same object. And that is where Pixel Game Maker can become cool, is that you can have these global objects that in the scene can become these specific objects depending on what you need. So that's it for the move towards direction display. I hope this helps you in your game developing, and we will see you next time.